And welcome to the Spring 2023 Dual Enrollment Jumpstart Orientation. We're so excited that you joined our orientation session for this semester. We want to ensure that you have a jumpstart on the spring semester as a dual enrollment student at Prince George's Community College. And we have developed a presentation catered just for you to ensure your success. This evening, I have several colleagues joining us and who will be sharing very important information for you. We have, next slide, Mr. Miguel Bueso, I'm sorry, not next slide. Mr. Miguel Bueso, our coast advisor for Northwestern and Bladensburg High School. We have Ms. Peaches Crenshaw, who is our coast advisor for Eleanor Roosevelt High School, and Ms. Jennifer Avalar, who is the coast advisor for High Point High School. Shout out to those schools being represented today. We also have in the background helping us with our presentation, our program director for recruitment and outreach, Ms. Courtney Thrower, and we have other of our staff who have joined us in the webinar with you all today. So we want to welcome you all to our presentation. Next slide, please. Tonight, we want you to be engaged in this presentation. We want to hear from you as students as well, because the feedback that you will provide is just as important as the information that we'll be providing to you all today. So we're going to open the chat for just a moment. And if you could just take a few moments to share why you've decided to participate in dual enrollment, we greatly appreciate it. Go ahead and use that chat feature and tell us why you're interested in participating in dual enrollment. So I see one student, Noah, saying that to have a jump start in my future. That's great. I see Jasmine saying, I'm interested in going to Prince George's Community College after I graduate. I see another student saying for dual credit, the opportunity to earn high school credit at the same time as earning college credit. I see Stanley saying it'll give me a better advantage in going to college. I have another student saying I'm joining dual enrollment to try something new. Other students are saying to fulfill graduation requirements and to get a head start in college. You can continue to put in your reason for participating in dual enrollment, because we want to hear from you. And as we refine our services and ensure that we offer the best services for the students in Prince George's County Public Schools. Thank you for sharing your feedback. Continue to finish up your comments as to why you want to participate in dual enrollment. There'll be opportunities tonight for you to ask plenty of questions, and our staff also have answered many of those questions in the presentation that we provided. So we want to ask that you hold off your questions until we reach the question and answer segments. And we want you to take some time and be effective college students and listen to the information being presented to you, take good notes, and ask questions after information is provided. Right now, we're going to pause for a short video that helps to acclimate you to the spring 2023 semester.
Hello, and welcome to the Dual Enrollment Jumpstart Orientation for the Spring 2023 semester. We hope you find this information helpful as you begin or continue your educational journey at Prince George's Community College. In today's presentation, you will learn about the course formats at PGCC, accessing your courses through Canvas, OwlLink, OwlMail, and other PGCC accounts, how to obtain your textbooks, attendance and grading, and next steps to get ready for the semester. There are 4 types of course formats at PGCC. Face-to-face, which meets in person at one of the college's campus locations. Hybrid, which is a combination of virtual and in-person class meetings. Structured remote refers to virtual learning in real time. Students are expected to meet with the class on designated days and times. All students can take face-to-face, hybrid, or structured remote courses. Finally, online courses, which means learning at your own pace, do not have scheduled meeting times. The professor will set the due dates for your assignments. Students must earn 6 college credits to take this type of course. When reviewing your schedule, pay very close attention to course meeting dates and times. Attend every class and make sure you are on time. This shows the professor that you are serious about the course and truly want to learn. If you are taking an in-person course or a hybrid course with some face-to-face meetings, you must provide your own transportation. Allow enough time to travel, locate a parking space, and walk to the building where your class meets. If your course is canceled or changed, please inform your coast advisor or PGCC representative as soon as possible. While you are a student at PGCC, there are various accounts you will use. You have already used Dual Enroll to apply and register for courses. OwlLink is where you can access Canvas, view your schedule, and check grades. If you have not done so, activate your OwlMail account, which is the preferred method of communication for your professors. We also recommend that you sign up for Owl Alerts to receive texts and emails about emergencies or closings. Remember, PGCC and PGCPS operate on different schedules. So what is happening at PGCC may be different from what is happening in PGCPS. For example, PGCPS may be closed for students on a particular day. However, your college class may still be in session. Canvas is our current learning management platform, which we will now discuss in more detail. You may be asking, how will I meet with my class? Or how will I see my assignments? Students taking remote or hybrid courses will meet with their class through Zoom. You will use the Canvas platform to view and submit assignments. Log in with your OwlLink username and password at least 4 days before your course begins. If you do not see the course, contact your coast advisor or PGCC representative right away. It may also mean that you are taking a course with a faculty member from Howard Community College. No worries, you are still a PGCC student and will still use Canvas. If this applies to you, contact your coast advisor or PGCC representative to obtain specific login instructions for your course. We've come to a very important part of our presentation: attendance and grading. As you may know, college is very different from high school. It is extremely important that you attend all of your classes and submit all assignments on time. Most of you are taking courses that meet only once or twice per week. Missing just one class meeting can result in falling behind, which is what we do not want to happen. Please take your attendance and grades very seriously, as this can have a significant impact on your GPA and ability to transfer credits to another college or university. The graphic displayed here shows the withdrawal dates based on the start date of your course. Although withdrawing from a course does not affect your GPA, it could impact your financial aid in the future. Also, you may be taking a course to earn high school credit, which can affect your graduation requirements. If you are in the science and tech program at your high school, this could also impact the fulfillment of your program requirements. We do understand that life happens and something may come up to prevent you from continuing in your courses. If you are having difficulty of any kind or are thinking about dropping or withdrawing, contact your coast advisor or professional school counselor before taking any action. Which brings us to another important part of our presentation: when to contact your professor. Again, college is very different from high school. Students are expected to be independent and will be treated as such. You may contact your professor anytime you feel you need to, and especially in the situations listed here. If you have an emergency, missed class or an assignment, or need clarity about something, please contact your professor immediately. Also, if you are considering withdrawing from a course, be sure to inform the professor as a courtesy. These actions show that you are responsible and genuinely care about your success. It can make a big difference, especially if you are requesting assistance or an extension. We understand that many of you are taking college courses for the very first time. As such, we have included some tips on how to communicate with your professor throughout the duration of your course. How you approach your professor in an email can make a big difference when you are sharing a concern or making a request. Include a subject, use proper punctuation, spelling, and grammar. Be sure to thank the professor for their time and assistance. Take the extra step and ask a friend or family member to review it before sending. For those who wish to take a photo of this graphic, we will pause for a moment to allow you to do so. Have you heard the news? PGCPS will cover 100% of the cost of your courses, fees, and textbooks. There are two ways to obtain your textbooks. Go to www.pgccshop.com or visit the bookstore in person on the Largo campus. You should have received an email from the PGCC dual enrollment team with a voucher and instructions on how to place your order. If you have problems with your order or questions about the availability of a textbook, you may contact the bookstore directly at the email and phone number listed here. By now, we hope you are pumped up and excited to begin your courses. Here are next steps to help you get ready for the spring 2023 semester. Check your schedule in Dual Enroll and/or OwlLink to verify course meeting times. Order your textbooks. Contact the bookstore with any concerns at the number and/or email address provided earlier in the presentation. If you have a documented disability, please contact the Disability Support Services Office at dss@pgcc.edu to request classroom and/or testing accommodations. Sign up for OWL text and email alerts to stay informed about emergencies or closings at the college. Log into Canvas at least 4 days before your courses begin. If you do not see your courses, contact your course advisor or PGCC representative immediately. If you have trouble logging into Canvas, please contact our e-learning services via phone or email for assistance. For issues with OwlLink or OwlMail, contact the Technology Services Desk by submitting a ticket through ask.pgcc.edu or call the phone number listed here. If you need additional help, please visit www.pgcc.edu/coast to find your coast advisor or PGCC representative. Your professional school counselor is also another resource to contact when you are taking courses during the school year. As a reminder, the spring 2023 semester begins Monday, January 23rd. Some of you may have courses with a later start date. Be sure to check Dual Enroll and/or OwlLink for the dates and times. Thank you for participating in the dual enrollment program at PGCC. We hope this information was helpful and wish you a great spring semester.
A huge shout out to
Hello,
Ms.
and welcome to the dual enrollment.
Sorry about that. A huge shout out to Ms. Crenshaw, one of our coast advisors, for developing and recording that video for you all. I did forget to mention at the top of the session that this presentation is being recorded and will be available on YouTube. I know that some of you may want to repeat some of the information that's provided tonight, so you will have the opportunity to do that. And we'll email all students who are registered for the spring 2023 semester with the link to the YouTube recording. Now's the time for you to ask some of your questions that you may have. And I see a hand already raised. Cassie, we're going to give you permission to speak and ask your question if you want to ask it live. Otherwise, we encourage you to use the Q&A feature within the Zoom webinar. Cassie, you can unmute and ask your question. Okay, Cassie, if you still have that question, you can put in the Q&A. Remember, this is a public forum, so please make sure that your questions aren't too specific. David, I see that you have your hand raised, so I'm going to give you the mic to speak.
Hello?
Yes, David. What's your
I don't
question?
see my classes.
Okay, so David, I'm going to have you reach out to your COAST advisor, and they can help you to, well, if you're looking for your class in Canvas, remember, your classes won't show up in the Canvas until up to 4 days prior to the start of the of your course. But if you refer to the email that was sent from MD Completion Act, that email shows you how to check your registration activity and determine whether or not you're registered for your classes. If you don't see them there, be sure to reach out to your COAST advisor or dual enrollment representative, and they can help ensure that you are indeed registered for the spring semester.
Okay.
Any other students have any additional questions you want to ask at this time? I see a couple coming in the chat. As a reminder, for those of you who are looking for your courses in Canvas, your Canvas login is going to be the same username and password that you use for your OwlLink account, and your courses will show up 1 to 4 days prior to the start of the course. It's very important that you know the start date of your course, because some of your courses start later in the term and not necessarily on January 23rd. So be sure to pay close attention to the start date of your courses. Another question that came up in the Q&A was related to how do you determine whether your course whether or not your course needs a textbook. If you go to the pgccshop.com website, I'm sorry, which is the answer in the Q&A, you simply put your PGCC student ID number in and select the spring 2023 semester, and any textbooks that are required or recommended for your course will be there. Question is asked by an anonymous attendee: if we have an online class on Zoom, do we have to have our cameras on? Well, while it's not required for you to turn your cameras on, we highly recommend that you participate in the course by engaging with your camera, with your voice, or at the very least in the chat if you're taking remote class. I'm going to answer a live question. I'm still not sure where my class is located or where exactly it is. I'm not sure how to find it. If you check your registration statement, you'll see the class location. If you are taking a remote course, you will join those courses from Zoom. You'll go into Canvas and there'll be a Zoom link for you to join your class via Zoom.
Mr. Harad, this is Ms.
Yes.
Crenshaw. We have several questions about how to find your schedule. So if you wouldn't mind answering that, we had several of those questions.
Thank you. So when to find your schedule, what you want to do is to log into OwlLink. So you want to navigate to OwlLink from the PGCC website, www.pgcc.edu. In the upper menu bar of your screen, you'll see an option for OwlLink, and you will log into your OwlLink account. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see a tab that looks like a bank building that's labeled Financial Information. If you click on that tab and click on Account Activity, you have the ability to search for your courses by term, Spring 2023. When you open up your account summary for Spring 2023, you'll see all the classes for which you are registered for, the date the class begins, the times that the class meets, if they have a meeting time, as well as the location of those classes. We encourage you to print that registration statement out so that you can have it on your first day of class. If you have a class that has been canceled, please contact your COAST advisor or PGCC representative immediately. Okay, and I think that many of the other questions that appear in the chat have already been answered by our staff as well. So if you continue to have questions, our staff will continue to monitor the chat and continue to answer questions. But we have 3 awesome presentations or presentations prepared for you by our staff. So our first session for this evening will be presented by Mr. Miguel Bueso on the topic time management. And that's a topic that you as students said that you need extra assistance with throughout your participation in dual enrollment. Ms. Jennifer Avila will present on study skills and note-taking strategies, which is a strategy that's going to help you be successful in your classes. And Ms. Peaches Crenshaw will be presenting on student support services. As you're aware, at Prince George's Community College, we offer a number of services to ensure our students' success in and outside of the classroom. And Ms. Crenshaw will highlight several of those services that you have the ability to take part in as students at Prince George's Community College. At this time, I'm going to turn the mic over to Mr. Miguel Bueso for his presentation on time management.
Good evening, everyone. And I'm going to talk to you today about some very important skills that most of us need to improve and develop further when we get to our college careers. Time management is very important. We're going to start by talking about some things that may affect your ability to manage time properly, such as emotional stressors. These things can interfere with our ability to manage time. So you want to try to minimize stress by scheduling time to study each week. Procrastination, we all know how important it is not to do this if you want to keep your grades up. Putting things off is probably one of the easiest ways to cause yourself stress. And as we just mentioned, that's going to interfere with your ability to do as well as you can and to manage your time. Of course, we do need to monitor how many distractions we have when we're studying. We want to minimize distractions. This, by doing that, we allow ourselves to absorb information into our long-term memory more quickly. Learn what kind of environment suits your concentration best. Beware of distractions like screens, windows, background noise. I found the library to be a place that was very conducive to studying because we are social animals. And when we get into an environment with a lot of other people, we tend to settle into what they're doing. So when you sit in a library and it's quiet and everyone is focused, studying, I know I find it much easier for me to do the same. I think you will too. So if you haven't done that, find a nice library and or a place that you can possibly be around others who are studying, and you might find that that allows you to focus even better. We need to prioritize and organize if we're going to be able to manage our time. I recommend creating a list of things to do on a weekly and monthly basis and learn how to prioritize what is most urgent and make sure you focused on that on a daily basis. Having too many tasks can really be overwhelming. So we have to be careful not to overcommit ourselves. Using a calendar and blocking off study and class time is very helpful. It'll help you to prioritize your daily and weekly priorities. Ineffective planning is not doing many of the things that I've just mentioned and I'm going to mention, and will eventually lead to increased stress in the future. Winston Churchill once said that planning to fail is the same as, failing to plan is the same as planning to fail. Multitasking is a great skill to develop, but it's not an ideal thing to try to do when you're studying. Multitasking can be a form of distraction and therefore compromises our ability to absorb information into our long-term memory. Next slide. So one of the best skills you can learn when it comes to setting priorities and managing your time is to set goals effectively. There's a very widely regarded, highly regarded system called the SMART goal system. And what that stands for is making your goals specific. What do you do to what exactly do you want to accomplish? Make sure that's clear. You want your goal to be measurable. Some way of stating an accomplishment, an achievement measurement. Achieving a goal that's realistic. You want to make sure that it's achievable. So you don't want to overcommit, and you don't want to have the tools. You do have the tools needed to be successful. Goals should be relevant. How important it is to your life. How is it important to your life? And a very important part that people often forget is to put a due date on your goals. Timely is what the T stands for. And it's important that when you have a goal that you include a due date and a time when you are shooting to accomplish that goal by. So here's one goal that I highly recommend, that as it is probably the biggest difference between succeeding in high school and succeeding in college. Here's an example of a good SMART goal. I will study at least 2 hours for every 1 hour I am in class. Weekly class schedules of 4 classes worth of 3 credits each require 12 hours of homework. You can post your goals where you see them every day on your refrigerator, in your bathroom mirror. Also, this is a great opportunity to make a vision board and keep that out in your room where you can see what you want when you graduate. What's your goal? You want to be able to visualize that. That often helps us to prioritize our goals and stay motivated. So you want to prioritize goals on a daily and weekly basis by making a things to do list. You want to prioritize your goals in order of importance. I recommend using a daily or weekly calendar, whether it's a hard calendar on paper that you carry or something that you have on your smartphone. But having a weekly view of the things that you need to accomplish is very helpful when it comes to managing your time. And make sure that just like you're going to block in your classes, many of you have seen your planning schedule in OwlLink, and it's a weekly schedule. And there are blocks at the times where your classes are. Well, that is an excellent way to start your calendar. The next thing you want to do is block in times for studying. block in times that equal at least 2 hours of studying for every 1 hour you're in class. Make sure that you take breaks. It's important that we have a balance between working and taking breaks, or else we're going to lose our focus. Expect to lose concentration from study fatigue, and take breaks when you feel like you are losing focus. Some suggest that we should take a ratio of about 5 minutes of a break every 30 minutes or so. You want to be careful not to let less important tasks take you off track from getting important tasks done. Keep mentally checking in on what you have listed as your most urgent priorities. Next slide, please. So we're going to talk about some other topics, some other tidbits. The first one is what I've already mentioned, is that you really, one of the keys, the biggest difference between high school and college is this, that in high school, you're attending school for about 6 hours a day, and you can typically get away with 0 to 1 hour of homework every night. Well, in college, it's just the reverse. You need to spend much more time studying and doing homework than you do in class. If you have a 3 credit class, that means you're going to be spending 3 hours a week during the fall and spring semester, 3 hours a week in class. So for each one of those classes, you need to budget in at least twice as many hours in studying. So for each 3 credit class, you need to block into your schedule 6 hours, whether it's a 1 hour every day or 2 hours every other day, or block it in more on days you have off. But you want to actually add that to your schedule. We retain much more information when we review our notes before and after class. So that's a great tip too. We want to plan ahead. Review your daily planner each morning and prioritize what is most important to get done that day. And keep checking it throughout the day. Keep yourself motivated. Picture yourself in the dream world work environment and in the living and you living in the ideal lifestyle that you've pictured for yourself. Again, a vision board is a great tool to help us stay focused on the long-term goals. And lastly, you want to reward yourself when you've accomplished an important goal. Budget in time to give yourself some fun time doing whatever it is that helps you to relax and lose track of time. Next slide. So now it's time for a poll question. Your question is, how many hours should you study? I'm sorry, for each hour spent in class, how many hours should a successful college student study outside of class? So if you would go ahead and enter in your answer to the poll question, then we can tally up and see how many people got it right. That's an excellent ratio there. Most people got the correct answer that we should study at least 2 hours doing homework, research, reading projects, assignments for every 1 hour we spend in class. In other words, if as a freshman, if you take 12 hours, if you have a 12 credit schedule, then you should spend at least 24 hours a week studying for those 12 hours that you're going to spend in class. That equals a full-time job. It's a big commitment, but you can do it. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bueso, for sharing that wonderful presentation on time management. And I think that is timely for our next presenter, Ms. Jennifer Avalar, who will speak on study strategies and note-taking. So Ms. Avalar, go ahead and take it away from here. You're muted, Jen. Go ahead.
Okay, so we'll try that again. Thank you, Mr. Harad, and thank you, Mr. Bueso. It's going to be hard to follow that up, Mr. Bueso, but I'll try. So I'm going to be talking today about study strategies / note-taking skills. And so this is something that, again, to follow up with what Mr. Bueso was saying, we want to make sure that you're doing the most you can as a student in order to effectively study, right? So study when you are most alert. That's point number one. We want to make sure that you find the time that is most suitable for you. Maybe you have to work around a certain schedule, whether that be other commitments, other activities you have going on. Just make sure that you always incorporate when you feel the most alert. Secondly, is choose a comfortable space with good lighting. So always near a window sometimes may work for you, or it could be distracting, right? So you just want to know yourself and know what would be best for you. Study difficult subjects first, get those out the way. So if something isn't particularly difficult for you, make sure to always tackle that so that you can free yourself later for other activities. Number 4, use the library. So again, like Mr. Bueso mentioned, we actually do have a wonderful library on our main campus. And we also have study areas where you can actually focus and you're able to, sit in a common area, maybe you right after lunch or somewhere where you feel like you would be productive. Number 5, remove distractions. So again, I know nowadays we're all addicted to our phones, but just try to carve out some time where you are not, looking at your screens. You're able to fully focus on that one activity. You'll feel much better once you've accomplished a good 30 minutes of a concentrated activity. Step 6 is form a study group with classmates. So again, it's always great to have someone, a buddy system in your classroom. Maybe there is someone doing particularly well in the class. Sometimes it's okay. We're not all strongly suited with every subject area. It's always great to have someone who you could share notes with, maybe someone who can catch you up in case you are absent for a legitimate reason. And of course, always having communication with that person always helps. You can help each other out in different subject areas. Next slide, please. And then now we're moving on to creating a work/study plan, right? So what would that look like in terms of getting to the nuts and bolts about what your day-to-day would look like? So as you can see here, there are different days assigned for different assignments. So this is just an example to demonstrate how that could break down. So for example, on a Monday, you could begin by outlining your homework / assignments, reviewing perhaps the syllabus of the classroom that you're in. And if you have some type of agenda or notebook where you take things down, maybe just provide yourself with some mental notes or even notes on your phone just to let you know when things are due. Tuesday, respond to your discussion board / review for exam. So many times your classes will expect you to contribute on a weekly basis to the conversation. That is something that your professor will actually really see as a strong suit of yours if you are able to provide feedback and able to provide different inputs that would actually enhance the classroom. Many times you'd be surprised, something that you're thinking or something that you have thought of, maybe someone was maybe too afraid to ask. So it's always good to just speak up. And even though, sometimes it feels a little weird at first, you're able to then get to know your classmates and, kind of help others who may have had the same question. Wednesday, take exams / follow up on your discussion board. So again, you want to make sure that you are staying on top of those small assignments, even though sometimes they feel like, they're not even worth a lot of points. You'd be surprised when they, you see the totality of those points. It could make a difference between an A and a B, or a B or a C. So just always make sure you're trying to scoop up as many points as you can in your coursework. And then Thursday, submit your completed homework. So again, just make sure you're always ensuring that things are turned in, if possible, on time. We understand things happen. So if that's the case, just make sure you always have constant communication with your professor in your coursework. And then Friday, check Canvas for upcoming assignments. So again, just wanting to be ahead of the curve and just make sure that you are always on top of any outstanding assignments or any activities that you have going on in the classroom, whether that be a group project or what have you. Just make sure that you are aware of what's going on in the classroom. Next slide, please. And then finally, we're going to talk about note taking, right? So note taking may look like different things to different people. It could mean different things depending on which subject area you're focusing on. Something that would be useful for science coursework, for example, may not be as helpful for English. So just take these with a grain of salt. But this is just a sample of what that would look like for you. So add headings and titles. So you want to make sure when you do take good old-fashioned notes, whether that be through Google Docs or actual notebook and piece of paper and pens, that you actually have headings and titles, so to help better organize yourself. I know sometimes I can be a little scatterbrained with things, so sometimes it helps for me to have refer back to things according to the chronological order of things, or again, the title of that specific class. Maybe there was a certain topic that your professor was talking about. So always make sure that you're aware of which class and which date you're referring to. Step 2, do what works for you. Again, if something that may work for someone else may not be as suitable for the next person. I know for myself, I do like to take index cards. That might be a little old school for you all, but again, do what is best for you if you happen to know what makes sense for you to do. And then step 3, be prepared. So sometimes, depending on the professor, they may or may not prefer technology in the classroom. So just be aware of those different options and different, teaching styles that they may have. So it's always good to have, a book bag full of materials, depending on which direction the class is going to take. You may need to use a notebook, spiral notebook, or you may need to use your laptop or some type of writing device. Step 4, be thoughtful. So again, don't just write to write. Actually try to understand what you're writing. So sometimes, we're quick to say, I need to write everything. I need to know everything. But just try to grasp the main points in the conversation so that you can refer back and it makes sense to you, most importantly. Step 5, be clear. Again, you want to make sure that your handwriting is legible. So again, you can understand what you're writing, and it's something that will potentially be a good tool to refer back to once midterms and final exams hit. You want to make sure that it is something that will make total sense to you. And then step 6, use colors. So me personally, I love using different colors to make sure things that need to stand out. Maybe it's a highlighter, maybe it's a specific pen that you like that really writes well. Do things that are fun for you so that it will be something engaging and exciting for you. And then lastly, step 7 and 8, remember the 3 R's. So reviewing, rewriting, and retyping. So again, sometimes it may feel like a lot of work, right? Like you're like, oh my gosh, like Mr. Russell said, 2 hours out of classroom seems like a lot, but you'll be surprised how how long away that really takes you. So it will definitely help you when it comes to just being able to, again, refer back, work smarter, not harder, right? So sometimes it's just a simple revision of your current notes, or condensing of your notes, I should say, will help you kind of trigger your memory and kind of associate different terms, new terms, or new sometimes we can get a little jargony, right? So just things like that will help you to be able to better grasp the full concept. And then step 8, ask questions. So again, it goes without saying, getting to know your professor, getting to know your classmates, going to visit during office hours, whether that be virtually or in person, will help you along your way, because number one, it will show interest in the coursework. Your professor will actually like that, and they will actually see that you have an interest in their subject area. And 9 times out of 10, they'll be helpful and they'll try to work with you. Again, if you explain to them a situation you have going on in your personal life, that will definitely help them better understand you as an individual, not only as a student, but we want to make sure that this is going to be an exciting and also helpful experience with dual enrollment. So that is it for me. But we're going to go ahead and ask another poll question. So with that note, some of the questions should have popped up. Why is note-taking an important study tool as a college student? A, note-taking can help retain information. 2, it keeps you actively engaged while learning. 3, to advance in my dual enrollment courses successfully. Or D, all of the above. So we'll take a minute to answer those. All right, it looks like we have a good amount of, do we have any responses? All right. Thanks everyone who participated. And that is absolutely correct. The answer is D, all of the above. So yes, it's really important that you all take this information, run with it. We will be sharing resources after this for you all to better understand the note-taking strategies that we've discussed today and to go more in depth. So feel free to look at those emails once we finish today. We will be sending those out shortly. I may not be tonight, but sometime in the near future. Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Avalar, for sharing such wonderful study tips for our students. Students, I hope that you're taking notes tonight and getting a lot of great information, again, because we want you to be successful in the classroom. But in addition to being successful in the classroom, we want you to understand that there are resources that are available outside of the classroom. As I mentioned earlier, and Ms. Crenshaw is going to share some information about resources that are available to you all as students. So Ms. Crenshaw, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Harad, and good evening, everyone. I'm so excited to share this information with you all. I hope you have been learning and taking notes as was stated. So I'm going to go through this rather quickly because I know you guys have been taking in and absorbing all this information. So I'm just going to highlight some of the student services and supports that we offer at PGCC for you as dual enrollment students. Okay, so at the outset, I do want to say that dual enrollment students are able to participate in just about every club activity or social or personal activity that we offer at the college, with the exception of athletics. So dual enrollment students are not able to participate in athletics at this time, but I'm going to highlight some of those things that you will be able to take advantage of while you are a student at our illustrious institution. So I kind of want to start off a little bit by talking about academic advising. Although you talk to your COAST advisor to help you set up your dual enrollment courses, we actually have actual academic advisors that you can talk to about courses and transfer credit as well. We know many of you are taking courses so that you can try to use them for your future college where you're going to attend. So we do have academic advisors that you can speak to. And even if you decide to attend PGCC after you graduate, we have our wonderful bookstore. We've already talked about this earlier in the presentation, but not only can you get your textbooks at our bookstore, you can also get PGCC clothing. So we have t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, pants, school supplies. So you can stop on by our bookstore on the Largo campus and pick up some wonderful PGCC apparel so you can rock it while you're going to class, okay? We also have computer labs that we have on campus. So if you need to do work or print out something, they are available to you for free. If for some reason you need a laptop, just let your COSTA advisor know, your PGCC representative, and we will assist you with requesting a mobile device through our loaner program at the college. As was also stated in our presentation, we have what's called disability support services. So if you are a student that has a documented disability, or you have a 504 plan or IEP while you're in school, we're not going to ask you that, okay, because that's confidential. We are leaving it up to you to self-identify that, okay, but we want you to be successful. So if you're getting those accommodations while you're in high school, they're not automatic in college. So you have to let your COSTA advisor or your PGCC representative know that you have a documented disability, and they will assist you with requesting it at the college level, okay? You've already talked to your COSTA advisor about how to get involved in dual enrollment. Keep doing that. We do have a library on campus where you can check out materials. We also have tutoring services. If you are interested in getting a tutor for just about any course, we wouldn't say all courses, but most courses, especially for writing or for math. The schedule is not yet up, but we anticipate that shortly after the spring semester begins, there will be a schedule posted on the tutoring and writing services website. All you need to do is go to the PGCC website at pgcc.edu and search library and tutoring services, and you can call to make an appointment. Tutoring appointments are available both virtually and in person. So definitely take advantage of that, as it is free. So when you're a college student, right, even when you're in high school, you're starting your academic record, right? And what's that called? A transcript. What is a transcript? It basically has a record of all of the courses you've taken, your grades, the credits you have, all that good stuff. So guess what? At the college level, you have that too. So our records and registration office can help you to submit an official transcript, especially if you're a senior and you want to have those credits transferred. You can submit an official transcript. Yes, it does cost, but that's okay, right? It'll be worth it if you're trying to get those college credits and to save time and save money towards your degree. Records and registration is also where you would obtain your physical hard copy student photo ID. We definitely recommend that, because in the event you need to check out some materials from the library, or maybe you just want to show up your PGCC love, you can do that while you're walking around campus, okay? Even if you're taking an online or remote course, you are still a student at PGCC and you deserve a photo ID, okay? We have our vocational support services who provided those wonderful time management slides that Mr. Bueso so wonderfully presented. So they do offer academic advising and support on campus as well. We also have a couple of mentoring program opportunities, Women of Wisdom, Diverse Male Student Initiative. So if you're interested in getting connected with a college student that has already been through it, who has done this, who has done that, kind of show you the ropes, you can get involved in that as well. We have listed here the web page to our student life and support services. So if you are interested and you want to know more about our clubs and organizations, it's just simply too many to name here. So please check out this website and see what other clubs, activities, events we have going on at the college, and see what you can get involved in. We know you're in high school and you're involved at your high school, but these things are available to you as well. We also have counseling. We have PGCC Cares, as well as an owl market for students who want to get food or some clothing or even school supplies. So all those things are available at our Student Life and Support Services website. We also have a virtual services feature. Shout out to Miss Roa, who manages that behind the scenes. She's the one managing our slides as well. So Monday through Friday, if you just want to hop on from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., it's a Zoom room. If you have a question about anything we talked about, or you have general questions about PGCC, you can just get on there, ask a question, and someone will be there to assist you with that, okay? So I know that was kind of quick, but I wanted to kind of just get through that because I know you guys have been listening a lot this evening. So thank you for your time. Next slide, please. We're going to go to our third and final poll for the evening. So dual enrollment students can participate in all PGCC activities except, okay, we're going to give you guys a few seconds to just send in your answer. Okay, they're coming in, they're coming in. That means you all were paying attention. Wonderful. So we give it about another 20 seconds or so for everyone to participate. All right. Okay. 10 seconds, 10 seconds. All right. So we're winding down. So if you answered athletics, you are absolutely right, okay? So it's not that we're trying to single you guys out. It's just that athletics has a whole different process that students have to go through. So hopefully, if you are an athlete and you decide to attend PGCC after you graduate, that is something you can definitely look into. But we have so many other things that you can get involved in while you're a student at PGCC. And I just want to thank you all for your time. And that is it for my portion of the presentation tonight. Thank you. Mr. Harad, I'll turn it back over to you for some final comments.
All I can say is, wow, 3 excellent presentations. And students, I can't stress enough. Some of you may already know I'm also a faculty member here at Prince George's Community College. And I can guarantee you, if you follow the tips that were presented today by our presenters, you will be successful as a Prince George's Community College dual enrollment student. So again, I hope you took some real good notes. I know that some of you have been asking some really, really good questions. And I also want to encourage you to utilize the resources of the college website, which has a bunch of information about the resources that are available, as well as the services that we offer. In addition to that, as the presentations have been going on, I've been providing some links to some pages that will be helpful to you all in the chat. So please take a moment to download the chat or to click those links that you can have those tabs open. Now, I know that we provided a lot of information as I indicated earlier. This presentation will be available via YouTube, but I know that we have a couple of people who've had their hands raised and a couple of people who may have questions that they want to verbally ask. So we're going to allow those students who have their hands raised to ask their questions. And for those of you who still feel comfortable using the Q&A feature, please continue to use that feature and our staff will continue to answer your questions as we wrap up tonight's session. So the first person I see is Gloria. Gloria, I'm going to pass you the mic so you can verbally ask your question. Go ahead and ask your question, Gloria. Okay, it looks like Gloria cannot connect to the microphone. But Gloria, if you want to use that Q&A feature in the webinar, we'd be happy to type your response to you. We're going to move to the next person. I believe the name is Ajanaya. We're going to give you the microphone to ask your question as well. So you can go ahead and unmute and ask your question. All right, it looks like folks are having trouble connecting to the, okay, there we are.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So for the IDs, when I went to the website and I looked at more information for it, it said that they will be issued out after January 9th. And then they gave times and locations. are we supposed to go there to receive our ID, or will they like be mailed to us, or?
So good question. So you will physically go to the location with your registration statements, that same printout that I showed you how to check your schedule earlier. You'll take a copy of that with you, and they'll take your ID picture there and print it out and provide it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Not a problem. Kevin, I see you up, and I'm going to hand you the mic so you can ask your question. Kevin, you can unmute and ask your question. All right, I don't think Kevin is able to connect. Well, again, we thank you all for joining this information session tonight. And we hope, next slide, please, that if you do have any additional questions that were not answered today, we encourage you to reach out to your COAST advisor or PGCC dual enrollment representative by using the email address or the website listed above. When you exit tonight's session, there will be an evaluation that comes up automatically. We ask that you evaluate this session and give us your honest feedback on the information provided tonight. Again, this session has been recorded and it's going to be shared out with all students registered for the spring 2023 semester. A huge shout out to our PGCC dual enrollment team for preparing this presentation, as well as a shout out to our classroom and event technology, Mr. Matthew Lloyd, who has provided technical support, along with Joe Young, and our PGCC TV, who will be responsible for posting this video on our YouTube page. Thank you all the participants who joined, and we look forward to seeing you during the spring 2023 semester. Have a good night.